Hi, I'm Rajiv Joseph. I'm a comedian and a host. I am Indian.
And I'm American. So this show will tell the story of Indians in America.
I live right here in Los Angeles, the home of Warner Brothers, Disney, and now Funny Indian Productions. My guest picks a game, and we play it. So enjoy. What do you bring to the table?
Welcome everybody to this episode of What Do You Bring to the Table? I can feel Utkarsh Ambudkar stare right on my face. I thought that was a great intro.
Thank you for that.
That's good. It's a good face. I think that's
Great
a good
face.
thing. Did I pronounce your name roughly?
Yeah, I think
Utkarsh.
so. Yeah, Utkarsh.
Ambudkar.
Uh-huh.
Am I even?
I think it's a hard D. Utkarsh, I think. I don't know.
You don't know.
Utkarsh Ambudkar.
I learned how to pronounce my name when I was 15. It took me that long.
I was scared to say it.
It's your name is intense.
It's tough because it's like, everyone says it kind of differently. But
I
I
would
think
imagine.
it's Ambudkar.
Ambudkar.
I think it's a ooh.
Ooh, Ambudkar.
Yeah.
Okay, now I feel like it charges you when you say it.
It's
it's
tough.
like it's energetic.
It's Maharashtrian and there's a lot of,
It's hardcore Marathi.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
It's the real deal and it's been a challenge.
I would imagine.
Since the day one in this country, having the name. I mean, it's unique and special in its own way.
Yeah, in its own way. That's
can't-
like you look good for your age. That's the qualification. Yeah, it's in its own way.
I can't imagine the hundreds, if not thousands of hours I've spent explaining the pronunciation of my name to people over the duration of my life.
And it must be very frustrating to fellow Desis if you're just like, an Indian person. You're like, dude, you should know how to say my name.
No, I've learned that it's unique or unusual all across the land.
Okay. Even in Hindustan, even in India, because I haven't seen the name before.
No, I've been told it. They're like, what an unusual name. What a weird and unlikable name you have. Even in India, like I've had aunties be like, I don't like your name. It's like, oh, cool.
They'll just come right out and just tell you.
Yeah.
That's aunties for you.
They know what they're doing.
That's what's up. Do you have a middle name?
Suresh, my father's name.
Okay.
So my initials are actually USA.
I was gonna say that's what I was driving at.
Oh.
Is that I wasn't sure. I was actually gonna do the thing. I was hoping it started with a T because then you could be repped by UTA.
Oh yeah.
Like you just walk into the talent agency and be like, guys,
come on,
resume, look
come
at
on.
this. That's what's up.
What's your middle name?
Kumar.
Kumar.
That's so played though. Kumar. So if I were a rapper, I would go with 36 Chambers. Bring the ruckus. RKS.
Oh,
Bring the
I like
ruckus.
it.
That would be my like,
That's
production
cool.
company. Because you rap too. You rap and you act. Those are the two things that you...
Those are the only things that I've worked on in my life. No, you already won! No.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I did already
Why are we even having this conversation?
Yeah, I know. I have to finish it just for the visual, I think.
Oh,
what if I messed it up? How great would it be if I went down the wrong line? You're like, dude!
I would be so happy.
Dude, thanks for coming in. It was
Yeah,
great getting
great.
to know you.
All
I
right,
appreciate
see ya.
it. Rematch.
God, that was pathetic.
That was hilarious. This is good. It means the conversation's good.
No,
because if you're just
I
focused,
suck at Connect 4.
That could be, yeah. It's probably more of that. You rap and you act, and you've been working on these things for how long?
So, since I've only done this as my love since I was maybe 12 or 13. So,
Dude.
I got introduced to acting through an Indian community play called Rangoli 98, Rangoli 97 maybe.
Okay. And so how old were you? You were.
I must have been 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And so I joined this troupe of young Indians, and somebody had written a play, and we kind of we performed it, and I didn't know anything about stage form or structure or anything. I just sort of got on stage and I improvised all my
And you
parts.
had never had any theater experience before you had done like a class play or anything like that even?
And it was really, really fun, and you know you're gonna win again. And
not necessarily.
And then in high school, I started doing theater, and that's where I met, you know, this guy, Raphael. Why can't I ever remember his last name? Raphael used to play guitar, and I found that I could sort of improvise songs while he was doing that. Which turned into sort of freestyle rap. And then I got to college, and I continued to, it was a party trick. I went to college for acting, which was sort
and
of.
you went to Tisch?
I went to NYU for Tisch. Which was its own story, right?
Yeah.
So I tell my mother and father in the back of a minivan, I want to be an actor, this is what I want to do.
And you're how old? You're 12?
I was, no, I must have been 15, 16 at that point. But they, you know, they were really trepidatious and suspicious of my abilities to, you know, make it as a, I mean, anyone would be.
So you're like sophomore in high school type thing. You're starting to get serious about college, maybe whatever.
I mean, college. College is like serious or not, I have to go, right?
Exactly.
I mean, like
marriage pressure, PhD pressure, they're both kind of equal at that point.
Right, marriage pressure. Luckily, they've given up on, and PhD pressure for that matter.
Yeah, at this point, I was gonna say.
The only Indian on television, this is 1998-99, is Apu on The Simpsons.
I know.
And
I want to ask you all about it.
And he's a cartoon. How do you think, like...
And he's not even Indian.
Yeah.
He's white, which is Hari Kondabolu made a movie called The Problem with Apu.
Right.
Which I wrote a critique about. I don't know if you saw it.
I don't know if I did.
I wrote a critique about it that actually, it kind of went, I mean, sort of semi-viral, whatever, got syndicated by a couple of different things, but I was mostly talking about my take on the documentary, but you got to actually voice the dude. Like Apu's, was it nephew? Mm-hmm. What was that like?
I mean, it was a dream come true in one aspect to be able to voice, be on The Simpsons. And then on the other side, you know, it's just, they didn't do any of the cool ideas I gave them. I mean, look.
Did you give them ideas, really?
Yeah, and I say it in the documentary. Basically what I wanted them to do is, the whole point of the character as it was explained to me was to expose the Apu character for the stereotype that it is, right? Which is a wonderful idea. God, it's 20 years late, but let's do this. I'm the first, and maybe now only, South Asian American character or voice actor who's been on that show in the entirety of its run.
Yeah, of like the almost 30 years.
Yeah, and here's the thing, it's not so much of a huge deal because almost every one of us that does something is the first South Asian American to do it.
That's what they were saying about Obama, right? He'd be the first one to use that bathroom, the first black president to use the bathroom, and you know, whatever it was. Like anything he does is going to be historic, right?
I've come to realize that it's like we have all my friends, like Nitya Vidyasagar, first South Asian American to be on Sesame Street, like Hassan Minhaj, first Asif Manvi was.
Manvi, technically,
but you know, it's like on down the line, right?
Right.
I said this in the doc. I was like, here's what you do. You have my character say this line, which is, you sound like an old white guy doing a bad impression of an Indian accent.
Right.
Then you cut to the real Hank Azaria in Flesh and Blood. He gives the camera a look as if to say, it's true, and then you cut back to the cartoon. And everyone wins. Hank gets to poke fun at himself. Simpsons get to poke fun at themselves.
Right.
We get to call it out for what it is.
Yeah.
Nothing has to change.
And that was your idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just
you pitched them?
I pitched them.
Okay.
I was like, and it'll be really super duper funny. What am I doing here? I cannot lose 2 in a row.
You might. Did they,
Hey.
Did they, I don't know, man. I haven't played this game either in a while. Is it, did they tell you no, or did you just find out in the script that your idea had been shot?
No, they said, that's really funny, and then they didn't do it, which is normally what happens.
Which is the Hollywood kind of no. Yeah.
But you know, and then this Hari's documentary came out, and then sort of just by proxy, became a very, I don't know if important's the right word, but I certainly became a part of that story because I had the experience of being on the show, and all of a sudden people are like, hey, you were on the show, you're a expert at this, and it's like, I guess.
I passed an audition, and you know, I know how to do a voice.
I got the
I was gonna say, I was hoping you'd correct me. I was like, was it an offer? I was like, maybe it was. I don't know.
But it was a cool experience, and you know, and the real positive that came out of it and I haven't told anyone this, so you get the scoop.
Oh, exclusive.
Is
exciting.
I got to work on, and I'm on right now, Hank Azaria's show on IFC, Brockmire. So I have a 5-6 episode arc on Brockmire this season.
Dude.
So I show up on day one, and Hank's like, "Hey man, like you were so good as Apu's nephew, and like, you know, we're shooting."
Did it come from that? Like he had you do the show? Like he saw you?
No, I had auditioned. To be fair, Hassan, if you're watching this, they offered that to you and you said no, which is crazy because I used to beat you for roles all the time, and now I have to get your table scraps, which is real funny. Congratulations on lapping me several times over.
Well, and I have both of them as guests on the show, so I mean, you know.
Yo, Hassan, I used to smoke, homie. Come on, Barbershop 3, you know I got you, dog. Now I'm turning down, oh no, now I'm getting what you turned down. It is amazing, which makes me so happy, right?
Of course. Like you were saying at the time, there was only one South Asian actor to go out for stuff. Now it's like,
dude,
there's, you know,
yeah,
you guys and other multiple, you know, dope actors who can go out and book the role. So you booked it from an audition. And
I booked it from an audition. Hassan turned it down, and Hank and I are brought together. He says, "You did a good job on Apu." I said, "Thank you very much." The whole time we're shooting, I know that this documentary is coming out. I've seen the documentary. I know the angle that Hurry's taking on Hank, which is not a flattering one.
Right.
And I'm like, I gotta do a show with this guy. And meanwhile, Brockmire is like doing a staged play.
Okay.
Hank Azaria is the most prepared actor I've ever seen in my life. Like talent-wise, the guy memorizes the entire season before you shoot. He is there, he is off book, he is ready to go. He's got 7-8 different versions of each line that he's gonna do. He is, oh my God, I learned.
He's a beast.
He's a beast and he's a master.
Yeah.
So you're in the same way that I worked with Cedric the Entertainer on Barbershop, who improvisationally is a master. Watching that man work, watching JB Smoove work, I've had, you know, the great privilege of being able to work with OGs, like people who are 10, 15, 20 years older than me, who are true, like, savants at their craft. And Hank is one of them. So I'm working with him, and he's giving me all of these gems, right? And several of them are epiphanies that only come to the dumb. You know what I mean? They're like common sense to most people.
Okay.
But for me, I was like, yes, feed me. And we really developed a strong rapport. And then after we wrapped, because I knew he was so, he was drowning, right? He was just treading water in that sort of indie television making process. Okay. I shot him an email. I was like, Hank, I love you. I'm really appreciative. And I cherish the relationship that we've developed. I'm in this documentary. It all over you. I want you to know that the Apu character did have a negative impact on my life. That doesn't affect the way I feel about you. Yeah. And you should know that when this shit comes out, I'm all over it. And he was like, cool, thank you for being honest. He may have already known.
Sure. Do you think he knew while you were shooting?
I have an idea that he probably knew, and both of us sort of just let it be unsaid.
Sure, yeah.
And then after the fact, the Apu documentary comes out. It obviously makes it like re-energizes the Simpsons. It like makes that relevant again.
Yeah, totally.
It's so funny that we're like, hey Simpsons, like you're welcome. Like now you're relevant. Yeah. Because of
any publicity is good, right? That's what they always say. Any publicity.
I guess so. And then Hank calls me, and I won't divulge any of what happened, but he and I had a series of phone conversations around the character, around his perspective, around sort of the growth that he'd been doing, how the documentary had affected him, which, you know, it was at points scathing. And
that was one of the issues I took with it, is I felt like Hank was the wrong target. With capitalism, you go against management, not labor. You have to go against people who own the means of production. You don't go after the line worker. And I felt like you're going after an actor, not the creator, not the writers. The writers are at fault.
Yeah, Hurry had he had a tough, very delicate sort of road to walk.
Sure, and I know Hurry because we toured India together. You know, we did a 2-week tour, so I know the guy super well.
I would agree. It was a step that he took in that documentary that sort of, I think, muddied the message a little bit. Sure. It made it personal when it didn't have to be. That being said, he did his best and he made a dope documentary.
It's good.
And we're all in it, which shows you how much we all care about him and about the message in general.
And it also, though, shows you that we have a voice with which to fight back. So I think that was the issue at the times that Apu was the only voice for South Asia.
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, now we're winning. Look how many people just alone
Right.
with that documentary.
So, flash forward and Hank and I are talking and it's sort of like, well, what can you do? Do you admit guilt? Do you donate to South Asian societies?
Sure.
Do you kill Apu? That sounds weird. Do you
Yeah.
pass it off? What do you do? And
Right.
in many aspects it's like, well, it's in a good way too late because we get to sit here in front of cameras.
Right, we'll take it.
In many aspects it's too late, but I think that the Hank that I spoke to is very, very much in line.
It's your right. I think
With the Hank that ended up going on Colbert.
Yeah, and he said, I'll do whatever needs to be done. How much of that do you think was the result of the series of conversations you had?
I take full credit.
Please.
I mean,
100%, please. I have a big ego, so I like to bring that out in other people.
Oh no, I changed
I
his
want
life.
you to, yeah.
I
please.
changed his life.
Please,
I
please.
saved Hank Azaria. Saved
and
him
the
from
Simpsons
himself.
and society at large.
So
Don't underplay what you did.
I don't want to be like too high on myself. It's hard being this special. though.
It's hard out here for a pen. If I may quote something from 6-7 years ago.
I'd like to think that I helped a little bit.
Yeah.
And I also really, really appreciated being able to have that open, honest dialogue with him.
Of course.
About something that meant a lot to me. And he asked, like, when you played my nephew, did that you up? And I was like, kinda, yeah. It's one of those things where you do it and then you realize you kind of got by the system.
Yeah.
And I had a sort of magic moment at that Apu premiere. Whoopi Goldberg was there.
Yeah.
And we did that talk back together and Whoopi Goldberg sat next to me. It was so cool because I'm like, my pants. I didn't read the press release.
Right.
And so they're like, Whoopi Goldberg. And I look over to Aparna and Ancherla and I'm like, Aparna, Whoopi Goldberg's there. And she's like, yeah, dude, you didn't read the press release? I was like, no. What
I know Aperta read it. She had to, right? She read it word for word.
And she was like, why? She was like, why didn't you read it? And I was like, I don't know. And so Whoopi's sitting next to me and I'm just like, you don't know what to do with your hands. And I was like,
delegate,
hi,
yeah.
hi, Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
And she goes, come
Be
here.
a puppet master.
She was like, come here, give us a kiss. Let's give him a show. And
Dude,
she
that.
pecked me on the cheek. And I remember somebody asked, like, do you regret doing the role? And I got passionate in a way that's embarrassing in public when you start to actually tell the truth.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like I feel like they sort of got me. Like I did this thing, I thought I was special, and now I was a part of the problem, and like I did this role, and it ended up just feeding into the stereotype. And instead of exposing Apu for this thing that could be changed, my character was called a hipster and blah blah blah. And it's
Right.
really tough. Do you take the job or do you take the L? What do you do? Like you like how do you
bounce back?
Yeah, and Whoopi was like, don't worry, like it's a long career, like you do a lot of things, you do a lot of stuff that you're not gonna be proud of. That in front of the whole like theater, she's sunning me.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's
And
a
she
conversation
was-
behind closed doors.
Oh,
a lot of the
for
time, and she
sure.
just- here it is.
And she just goes, you're gonna be great, you're gonna be fine, and like it's a long career, and the win is that you're here. The win is that you still keep going and you're part of the conversation. And I'm just sitting there like, is everyone seeing this shit? I just got
She's dropping a chorus.
It was really powerful. It's one of those moments where you're like, I'm in a room. You become acutely aware that hundreds, if not, everyone's got two, hopefully. Thousands of eyes are on you.
Right.
And you don't know who they belong to, and you're just vulnerable. And you're being spoken to by not only a legend in her own right, but a huge influence and role model to me. Have you seen Eddie? Bro, Eddie is the shit, man. Whoopi had me well before Eddie, but Eddie cemented her God status in my life.
Yeah.
But just to have that moment and experience as a result of this thing that Hari put together was a true gift, you know?
Of course.
It was really special. But yeah, so Hank and I did that.
And so it seems like you're surrounded by a lot of good people. Whoopi, Hank is a good dude, seems like.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Which is, that seems to come across, not that we can always tell that on screen, but he definitely seems like a good guy for whatever, like his empathy sort of comes through for whatever reason. I'm not saying through The Simpsons necessarily, but just in other roles I've seen him in, and when he was on Colbert, you're just like, he's either really that good of an actor, or he seems to really care.
No, he does care. He's thoughtful. Look, there's a certain bubble that a middle-aged white man has lived in for a long time.
Of course.
And when the bubble pops and you look outside and you're like, whoa, This is what it is.
The bubble meaning greater pop culture, the United States, power, like that's a big bubble.
Oh, yeah.
And that we've actually been on the outside of. If
Yes.
anything else,
Yeah.
we're living kind of outside this, privileged bubble.
Well,
that
yeah.
We're sort of piercing now.
It's like this, you're in this quiet little sphere and the grass is green and everything
Right.
smells good and the songs are great and you walk down the street and you walk at night and it's wonderful and women and this and you're attractive and life is good.
You're the standard of beauty and all those things.
And then the bubble pops and it's loud as with
Yeah.
the voices and smells and colors and
Now you're just
feelings.
describing India.
Yes.
It's sensory overload. Don't you feel that when you go to India? It is sensory overload. Like, there's just so much sound, so much smell. Did I lose again? Oh, yeah.
No, you won.
Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. I feel so, I don't think there's a lot I can beat you at, but I feel like I'm beating you at this.
I haven't
and
played-
you called the game, so I
I
feel
haven't played
like,
this in a long time. What did you do? Oh, you won 2 ways. Jesus.
Oh, I didn't even see the other one.
Oh, this is awful.
Oh, that's
Why
so
did
funny.
I come here?
I didn't even, okay, so I saw that one. I didn't see the other one. Yeah.
India is sensory overload.
It is sensory overload. Now, you were born where?
I was born in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, so basically India.
Yeah, right.
Basically a third world nation. The Wire is one of my favorite shows ever. I'm sure everybody brings that up to you if you say you're from Baltimore. That's pretty much what everybody
No,
says.
everyone says, but where are you really from?
Oh, they still do that?
You know what? The amount of conversations, it's so funny because I'm here with you, a fellow Indian.
Yeah.
And you bring up India and I don't want to talk about it because of how many stupid ass, dumb ass, surface ass conversations I have to have every other day, if not every day.
About India?
Yeah, with somebody who's not Indian. Where you're from?
So we're Punjabi.
Punjabi, so you're north.
Way north, and then my wife is Gujarati. I haven't been to Gujarat yet. So what can you tell me as an Indian that that I will get?
I don't know. Don't you just go and kick it with your grandma?
Of course.
Or your uncle and your aunt?
we don't necessarily go to, Bombay Canteen. We did that too. But,
Yeah.
but it's just, or the Palladium Mall, we'll do that too. But yeah, of course, it's like, it's home. I know you're a Beatles guy as well, I think.
Beatles, like the band?
Aren't you?
I mean, I can't deny that their music has had some effect on.
Okay, on just
Pop
the world.
culture.
So okay, I thought you were somehow a big Beatles fan. I don't know where I was getting that from. Weren't you fronting a band, or wasn't that the name of something a play on the word Beatles?
No, it was definitely a play on a different word.
Okay.
That band was called the Beatards.
Okay, so I thought maybe you were either clowning the Beatles, or you were like either you were
It's
like
a bad
an
name.
anti-fan.
No, full
Yeah.
fan.
Okay.
We were called the Deadbeats, and
The
then
Deadbeats.
changed the name to the Beatards, which I'm pretty sure is why we have no.
Followers on Spotify.
Yes.
Okay.
Why we are nowhere today, because it's such a offensive name.
Yeah,
I can't
that is
believe
pretty-
we did it. We did real shows. We used to open for Questlove. We used to open for LMFAO. We've played
Dude.
with like Santi Gold, Spank Rock. We've played with a ton of people whose names I can't remember. G-Eazy. But the biggest
These are
show,
big, yeah.
biggest show we did was we opened up for Public Enemy at BB King's Lounge in
Dude.
New York on Flavor Flav's 50th birthday party, where Public Enemy performed the entire "It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back" album from front to back in front of the whole audience, and we opened up for them, an Indian kid, a Korean dude, and a white dude, with an Indian and white backup singers and 2 dancers, and we were doing like Beastie Boys pop rap in front of a Public Enemy crowd. And we're like, "Ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo,
How'd it go?
It went like we weren't booed. I mean,
That's big.
that is as
That's the win in
That's-
front of a crowd like that, who's
Yeah.
like you're saying, that kind of hip hop versus another.
Yeah, not-
like that kind of rap in front of that kind of hip hop. I should say.
not getting booed was tops, and then
Was
was like
that's a credit on your resume.
my
By the way, I just want to point out the proper noun that was least impressive in that was New York. Public Enemy, Flavor Flav. You know what I mean? That whole sentence, BB King. I'm like, you know what's least impressive of that? New York City.
oh man,
That's how loaded that sentence was.
we used to have fun, man. And I got my catchphrase from Chuck D of Public Enemy. Everyone was at the show because it's Flavor Flav's 50th birthday party. So it was like Kid Kangle, Melly Mel, Ice T,
Oh, dude, the
Coco.
originals.
Like everybody was there. And I don't want to say names that weren't there because
Yeah.
it was a long time ago.
I
But Chuck D rolls up to somebody and he's like, how you living, Chuck? And he goes, slow motion, baby. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. I don't understand it. But
I don't understand it either. I was like, you might get that. I was
Nope,
like,
I don't.
I'm gonna just laugh and
But
pretend to
for
get
5 years after that, if someone was like, how are you? I'd be like, slow motion, baby. I'd be like, ooh, yeah. And I was like,
And they did it. It spread.
Know. It was cool. And then at that show as well, Ice-T was there with Coco, right?
Okay.
So like I do this often, and I don't know if you...
To the white folks watching, that's not a drink, in case you're thinking it's Arnold Palmer.
Yeah,
You know,
Ice-T's
like
there with
like
his
that.
wife, Nicole Austin, AKA Coco. And I was just like, I'm such a huge fan, I'm a big fan of yours, 6 in the morning, like I look up to you, blah, blah, blah.
Body count.
Body count, yeah. And Ice-T is like, all right, man, cool. He said, good luck. And instead of, like, I don't know what possessed me to say this, but Ice-T goes, good luck. And I go, you too. And he looked at me like, what? And I was like, I mean, continued success. I apologize. And I kept walking. And he was just like, but that look that someone gives you, where they're like, did you just say good luck to me?
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I didn't
say, you know.
I'm wearing a members only jacket at a Public Enemy concert. I shouldn't be here.
It's like the Brian Regan bit, the stand-up where he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm good in the all the way through until the end. He's like, I want to say something. I'm like, okay, take luck. I mean, good luck. Take care.
Yeah.
Like he just, just flubs it.
I've done that regularly.
I wrote a bit once, and then I found out it was a Bill Hicks bit from back in the day, which is like, how can you tell us not to burn the flag? Because the flag is what gives us the freedom to burn the flag. And I was thinking I was so big and bad, and my friend's like, yeah, that's a Bill Hicks bit, dude. Like, he did that like 20 years ago. I'm like, And, but it's true. It's like,
at least yours is Bill Hicks, who's like a progenitor of the art form.
Yeah, it's like, dude, that's a Jeff Dunham bit. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, you know who I got last week? I got, hey man, you're gonna wanna watch this Russell Brand thing, because that's a Russell Brand bit. And I was like, no, why? How could I stoop so?
Super nice guy, though. I gotta give it up to him.
I'm sure he's great.
He and Katy Perry walked to totally name drop, walked into the Improv. And they were actually real, like he and his whole crew, they came in during the show he was going up, he was gonna do a set. And he and his crew came in and they were super soft and like super slow motion, baby. They were super just respectful of all the other comics, and I thought that was cool. I was like, there's 2 A-list celebrities, they could have busted the room up, whatever. They're just like, really chill, waiting, what you're supposed to do. But a lot of people don't play it like that. And you're
great
like,
guy, but if I had to be compared, if I stole from Bill Hicks,
I'll take Bill Hicks.
Yeah, come on.
In terms of, I think most comics would probably be like, not that I stole from him, but I was afraid
you
that
can
it was about
you can just tell who's a better comedian by who stole from who.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah, what do they say? Good artists borrow and great artists steal.
Yeah, Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks, Russell Brand, everybody. So I have a feeling you're going to win this game. I just feel like
don't say things you don't mean.
The tide is going to turn. We didn't finish the story about you riding the backseat of your the car with your parents, and you were going to break the story to them. But that actually is a good segue to you went to school for acting. You went to Tisch, right?
Yeah, I went to NYU. Yep.
And you use one of my questions that you use your education, but you obviously do.
I do. I hated going to college. But I'll tell you how I used my education was I built the relationships I had there. I used the city of New York as a teacher. I went to clubs. I went to the New York Poets Cafe. I spoke there.
I saw you in Rajiv Joseph's play. That's the first time I saw you.
Animals Out of Paper.
Yeah. He's become a good friend. We're both Rajivs from Ohio.
That was a super...
So I remember you from that. That was a great, life-changing for the audience members. Melanie and I went to go see that. That's how I met you, I think, was through that. Now it's coming to me. Melanie Chandra, nay Kanokada.
Yeah, because her and I were both VJs on some weird Sony channel, and that's how we met.
Yeah.
But
dope. So yeah, I saw you in that. I was like, dude, that was pretty. It was a 3-person play.
Incredible. Jeremy Shamus and Kelly Overby, 2 off-Broadway and Broadway superstars.
Beasts. I mean, just insane.
Yeah, and that was cool. That was 24, 25. I was out of college. And then, I linked up. I've had an interesting career in the sense that, I've just been doing, I don't know.
I feel like it's my 1, 2, 3.
No, you just went and said I was gonna.
Yeah,
you were gonna lose.
You're gonna win. Yeah, you're gonna go. But yeah, that was an insane.
So
play.
yeah, and I used my education because of the relationships I built, the friends I made. The voice training was really great, but when you do arts, I don't even know where my diploma is. Nobody's asked for my training,
Yeah.
If any, maybe it's a conversation starter sometimes, but it's not, school was never like my thing.
Okay, even before that.
No, man, like I just
You couldn't sit still, kind of. You want to get out and do it, kind of
yeah,
thing?
like let's go do it. Let's go to the clubs. Let's rap. Let's audition.
You battle, right? So you come up with stuff off the top of your head.
I used to battle. That's kind of how I started. I used to go into the club 8 Mile style, and somebody says something, and then
Can I put you on the spot? Can I pimp you out?
It's been a long time. I mean, I could try.
Or is that annoying when people do that to you?
No.
Is that like that's a party trick?
It is totally a party trick.
But do I have to give you a word, or do you just go off of what you see here? Like, because I always felt like if I developed that muscle, I could be decent at it. But I've never, not at probably your level.
I mean, I can go. Of course, it's just practice and rhythm and flow and melody and cadence.
And cadence, yeah.
And a zeitgeist like knowledge of what's going on in the world.
That's all it takes.
It's comedy.
I got all that.
You do.
Yeah.
And then it's just practice.
I always say comedic timing is like rhythm to a dancer.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's like if you have rhythm, you can be a good dancer without rhythm. You just have to learn how to count.
Exactly.
You can be a good comedian without comedic timing, but you're never going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. We could do something. If you give me words, that's
Okay.
probably more fun. I'll probably flub at the beginning because I'm a little rusty, but
Yeah,
then we'll
man.
get into a groove.
So why don't we just, why make it up? Let's go with what's going on right now. How many words do you need? So you just need connect 4.
That's fine.
You, that you
So
go off
just
of that.
like, kicking it down the door. I'm sitting here with Rajiv playing Connect 4. He won 2. Is he gonna win 1 more? I do it right now. Listen, I forewarn anyone to come through. Listen, cause I was born in Baltimore, which I done said before. Yeah, I got it in my core. Do it all day long. That's right. Don't own a store. I'm not a poo. I'm not his nephew. We just went through all the that I do. I am an actor and a rapper and a flower. Listen, cause I used to use the lawnmower in the burbs of Maryland. Yes, I'm so full of melanin. My boy and me, we are both Indian. But when I get India, don't talk to me about India, especially if you're Caucasian and did yoga over there. I don't care.
Dude, that is dope, man. That is, if that's you, Rusty.
That's super.
I mean, I feel uncool sitting next to you. I felt way less cool. That's what was I was like, man, this guy
No, it's just practice. It's just
That
what
is
you love to
crazy.
do, and you keep doing it. You put hours in. That is not to toot my own trumpet, but that is I'm rusty. But
like a rusty trombone.
But it's also but it's also very different, right? Like when I'm with somebody, like if you have a beatboxer here who's like.
I was trying to tap. I was like, I'm
it's
so out of
cool.
rhythm. As I was like, you know what? Let me wait.
If a beatboxer's following me and
Right.
boosting me up, that's energy, right? It's just like a crowd. Then if I'm there with my buddy, so I'm in this group called Freestyle Love Supreme.
Okay.
And we're a freestyle rap improv group of dexterous comedy rappers, which is a weird niche
Niche?
to,
Yeah, it's tough.
occupy. But
Yeah.
one of the main, I guess the most famous guy in that group is Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So Lin and I have been, Lin and myself, Anthony Vinciali, Shockwave, Chris Jackson, who played Washington in Hamilton, David Diggs, who played Jefferson, Tommy Kail directs it, who directed Hamilton, Bill Sherman, who has a Grammy, Tony, and an Emmy.
So
waiting on
almost,
the
he just needs
Oscar.
the Oscar to pull the Rita
Yeah,
Moreno.
Arthur Lewis is an incredible vocalist. James Monroe Iglehart, who won a Tony for playing the genie on Broadway. Like, we're all in this crew together. And we've been in this crew together. I'm 34 now, since I was 20, 21.
Jeez.
I got young bucked into the group because Lynn
Yeah.
was going to do In the Heights. They needed a replacement. They brought me in, and I've been the little brother in this group. I'm still the little brother in this
Right.
group. But like when I'm with Lynn, and we're two people who speak that language together, and naturally we're competitive, but competitive in a way that is supportive because it's all love.
Yeah, you're trying to, yeah.
Yeah, so like here's how my art changed is I used to battle. So like I'd battle and I'd go, your tie looks like this, you look like Agent Smith, something, and
right.
obviously the physical attributes
Sure.
and then the Indian stuff and you're like,
I'll take baldness as an attribute, by the way.
I'm
but
about to
yeah.
body this husband of a Gujarati. Like, but basically your dick swinging ego babble, right? but like if I can take the same amount of focus and passion that I put into myself, right, in my art, and I can talk about Connect 4 and like where this plastic was made in Singapore and like the Parker Brothers and how, if I know who the Parker Brothers were, if it was Mattel and they do it well and Barbie and how the whole history of Mattel, if I can rap to you about this with as much dexterity as I can rap about myself,
Right.
it's infinitely more interesting and entertaining to somebody listening, right?
Because they know this. They don't know your
Yeah,
story.
they know-
You could be making it up. He just said, oh, he picked Baltimore because it rhymed with more. It's like, no, dude, you don't understand that. He is really from Baltimore.
And there's a certain humility might be the wrong word, but there's a certain separation from that has nothing, that is actually very anti-hip hop, which is that I'm not here to exalt myself.
Yeah, you're big up in something else.
Yeah, I'm deep diving on floral arrangements.
Right.
Who does that?
Yeah, like
that's-
Lil Dicky, like now it's become a little bit more of a thing, but the OGs like you're talking about.
Yeah, but
we're different.
when they told me, when they were like, we get it, yeah, we get it, you're the ladies and gentlemen, Caucasian and melanin, I'm coming from Maryland, I'm Indian, revving my engine, getting attention, and they were like, stop saying the same. They were like, for God's sakes, like you're a comic book nerd, you're a basketball junkie, you love hip hop, please start talking about the Incredible Hulk the same way you talk about yourself. So then I had to be like, I had to flip the grammar and talk about gamma rays and Bruce Banner and like, how, you know.
Luckily you work with Shockwave, so you got those gamma rays.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, there you go.
Do you know Chris Sullivan?
I don't actually, but I heard Shockwave, and I'm such a Transformers guy. But that's the thing that I'm gonna,
The toys that made us.
that made us. I had 90 of them.
Unbelievable.
90 Transformers.
Man.
That's an Indian kid. That's pretty.
5-year-old me is so jealous.
I know.
5-year-old me
Yeah.
is
You're like, how many of those
screaming.
could I buy right now? Or like, don't you wish though that
I buy vintage G.I. Joes.
My brother would be
packaging.
very impressed with that, A, but B, it's like, don't you wish your taste could have remained young so that you're like, you know how many like McDonald's extra value meals I could buy right now? But I don't want them. I
no.
need to eat like, but mosh food. I need to eat better food.
But I will say that I spend most of my money on vintage G.I. Joes, comic books, and sideshow collectibles. I have the same taste, man. And basketball jerseys. I'm very much somebody who's like, I have a little bit of money now.
Yeah.
I want the things that I couldn't have when I was a kid. And the new stuff, here's the thing, like, you know, for these people, they give you stuff.
Yeah.
And I like hoodies. Like, it's totally cool.
Yeah.
But like, if I have this is all gonna be head talk coming out of my mouth right now. I know it's gonna be head talk, but you know, you work and you get people, a team, right? So you have like a business person and stuff like that. And I sit with my business person and I'm like my parents, like I'm worried about what I'm spending and this and that. And I'm like, okay, I got a lot of Postmates this week. Like, how am I doing?
Yeah.
I got Postmates every day this week. And like, I got like $45 worth of Postmates. What do I do? And my business manager's like, dog, all you do is buy comic books and toys and $25 jerseys on eBay.
You're not gonna go broke doing that.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're
He's
gonna
like,
be okay.
He's like, when you're doing lines of cocaine, then I'll let you know.
Out of a stripper's.
Whose turn is it?
It's your turn, I believe. That's important. Oh, did you? Oh, really? Is it your turn? Then you won. I knew you were gonna win.
I don't think it was my turn, but I'm taking the win.
Take the win. Take the win. In one word, what are you? That'll work. I'll take that.
Growing.
Growing. Okay. Grower, not a shower. What genre of music is just noise to you?
Oh man, it changes. I love rap, but sometimes I put rap on and I'm like, this doesn't feel good.
Okay.
And country music used to be that, but I kind of love country. I love the stories. I love the melodies. There's always a chord change at the last chorus.
I like it a lot.
The key change.
The key change, yeah.
Like even like thrash or death metal definitely isn't something I ever listened to. But like if it came on, maybe that. Like, but hardcore satanic.
I don't get into the satanic side of it, yeah.
And then
into
like,
the demonic possession, like
but there
you
are
were saying.
certain things that I absolutely can't listen to, and it's no fault of the artistry, it's just my taste. Like Eddie Vedder's voice, I can't.
Really?
As soon as Pearl Jam comes on, it like makes me do like.
She's an empty canvas. I can't sing that. I can't do impressions either, so I like to mix them together.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah,
but you know, the way that sound is mixed, it's just sometimes in the mix, we don't realize it, and this was explained to me recently. The way it's processed, the way it's mixed, the way the sound is, the bass and the treble, how it sits. Sometimes listening to music actually exhausts you.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
You're having so much trouble focusing on the sounds because of the way it's mixed. So I'll know.
That's true.
I'll kind of like be listening and I'll be like, I'm getting tired listening to this.
It's draining you. It's not feeding you, it's draining you.
Yeah.
No, I can see that. Bjork is that for me. Bjork is extremely talented, and I recognize that. Her voice just grates on my ears. I can't do it.
I hear you.
I can't do it. And I respect her to the nth degree.
Jeremy
Holding
Ugh.
today.
That's like one of those bands I just don't understand why people like them. And I'm wrong.
Yeah, you are wrong. You know why the album's called 10?
Because it's their 6th studio album.
No, because they're friends with Mookie Blaylock, NBA, and he was number 10.
No way.
Maybe now you like Pearl Jam. See, I made it relevant to something you like.
I like who they are, not what they do.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's good. That's a good distinction. I like that. What would it mean to pull a you? Like, man, that dude just pulled a Utkarsh. What would that be? Go, by the way, please.
Oh, I think that to pull a me, I don't know, man. Like, I have no idea.
You got so many talents, it's hard to narrow it down.
I mean, like, on the most positive end, like, show up on time and be nice to people.
Yeah, you didn't do that today.
I know,
Yeah.
I came a little bit late, and I think I was, like, okay to people, and I immediately took a in your bathroom.
You did do that, but we'll blame Badmash.
Oh, showing up and taking a in your house.
That's something no one has done.
That is something all of my close friends will tell you that I do.
That's your thing?
On a regular basis.
The comfort level. Do you do it? Is it intentional? Because
No.
the comfort level there is now. It's like now I feel like we're dogs because people don't normally do that.
I have to be
Yeah.
okay with it because like what else am I gonna do? Sit here and sweat through this interview
and
with you?
fart. That would be the thing.
It wouldn't. That's the thing. When I got out of the car,
Yeah.
I realized there was no gas left. It was.
Oh.
It was.
And yeah, I would
it
rather
was
probably just have been uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like really.
Because
I'm like,
no.
I've tried
Of course
to
not.
like make
no,
space.
well, I'm that. I want you to let your guard down. Me casa su casa.
Yeah, I think any of my close friends will tell you that pulling a me would probably be me like having a meal or just
Yeah.
showing up and being like, hey, I'll be right
I got
back.
it. Yeah, mi casa su caca. So there's always that. If you could choose the categories on Jeopardy, what would they be? You go to Jeopardy, it's like boom, 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 the board
No
lights
doubt.
up, and you're like, man, okay, that, I'm cleaning up. Everybody sit down. I got it.
90s R&B,
Okay.
NBA players over 7 feet,
Okay. Yao Ming.
X-Men superpowers, like X-Men
Okay.
characters,
Okay.
storylines. That's probably, G.I. Joes.
Yeah, you mentioned G.I. Joes.
And then, how many more do I get?
No, that's a good. That's like 8, but you can just name 3 or 4. That's
Yeah.
good. No one names 8.
Okay.
No
thank
one's
God.
like, oh yeah, these 8. I'm
These
like,
8, I
"Jeez,
got
look
them.
at
I
you."
got them.
How many things do you know?
Things Alonzo Mourning did.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I'm
And
trying to
Bruce
think of the
Willis.
answer to that. And Bruce Willis.
Oh, not Bruce Willis.
Things he did, or-
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
He's your boy?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I would. No. But I'd love him to be.
But you, okay. Well, I don't mean like, okay, yeah.
It
Not
makes
your
sense.
dog, but your boy. Like,
I'm a huge fan.
Dog's good. You're a public figure. I'm sure people say things to you, passersby, whatever. Is there something that somebody said to you that's stuck in your head, good or bad?
Great job in patty cakes. True.
So who said that to you?
Several people. Siddharth Dhananjay did a great job in that movie, and he's a young dude, and he's awesome. He's like really carrying the mantle of like the OGs before us, and then we're the middle, and he's sort of the young guy, and he's really killing it. And he's a great guy.
And he's a great guy, though. In what ways do you feel old, and what ways do you feel young?
My body feels old sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I got like back stuff, and like for instance, I play basketball 2-3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
And
I mean, that's pretty good.
Well, I'm in the chiropractor 4 times.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll play ball, and I just won't be able to walk. I have to ice, and I love basketball so
That
much.
So you're willing to take the pain.
Yeah, but
It's like relationships.
I suppose so, but this is
Yeah.
an actual physical pain.
An actual love.
And then young, I feel super young. I feel like the more that I get to feel comfortable in my own skin, the more free I am and the more joyful I can be because I understand who I want to be, how I want to present myself in the world, what standards I have for myself. And,
Sure.
you know, I enjoy being able to meet my own criteria of what it means to be productive and positive and supportive.
Is that what you want to be? When you say you know who you want to be, those are the things you want to be?
Yeah, I just want to be here with you and be present. Like,
Yeah, and you have been.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's come across.
It's your show, and it's important to me to be able to be of service to that in any way that I can, and to help.
I appreciate that, man.
You know, I'm a big fan of yours, so like if I can do that, then I'm good. Then I feel childlike in a way. Then we're just kids playing, you know.
And we are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm losing. That's
well, no, I think it's your turn. No, you won the last one.
If I was a kid, I'd be so pissed that you won.
Oh, I totally. I would have turned over the board.
Oh my God, I would have left. I'd kick these cameras over.
I had my acting teacher. Actually, was over here yesterday, and we were talking about. He said, I want you to now, we were doing like an exercise activity. He goes, I want you to do it in a way that you're childlike. Not childish, childlike. And I was like, oh, that's good. He was like, there's a and everybody got what he meant. Mm-hmm. And I have to ask you as a fellow actor, although obviously your IMDb is much longer than mine is, it's, what did Hank Azaria drop on you? When he said just knowledge, when you said he just dropped a lot of knowledge on you.
Sure.
Was there a specific craft thing or something that he said?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what it was. So I did a show on Showtime. I didn't like the experience, and I'll tell you why. I didn't trust the people I was working with, and as a result, every take I held on to for dear life. So what I said was, I'm gonna do these lines exactly the same way every single time so they can't edit me in a way that is unflattering towards me. So essentially, I'm taking this very free and wonderful exploration, and I'm being rigid and obsessive about it, to the point where there's no leeway. So if the line is like, I've got to connect 4 coin. Every single take I'm going, I've got to connect 4 coin. I've got to connect 4 coin. Exactly the same way.
Almost.
Yeah, because I don't want there to be any opportunity.
Interpretation of it.
Exactly. And I told Hank this, and Hank was like, man, I did that for 25 years, and it was miserable. And he's like, I did this show, I directed this show, Oliver Platt was in it, I can't remember the other actor, and he was like, they would barely get their lines right. Here and there, they do some things, they play around, they give me different stuff, and I had everything planned the out. And when it came to the editing process, my performance was and their performances were incredible and organic and beautiful and wonderful. And so what he said to me is, if you have time, give them something different every single take.
Wow.
Give them a different color. Are you angry? Are you irritated? I've got to connect 4 coin. I've got to connect 4 coin. I got to connect 4 coin? It's a wonderful way to work. It's so freeing. There's so many options. It's so wonderful and beautiful in that you're trusting the process, and you're trusting that your editor's strong, your director's strong,
But you didn't trust the team, so in that case.
But that's on me. That's not them.
Because you could make a choice to still.
Yeah, because that Showtime team was still some of the best people. We still got some of the best television directors, DPs, editors.
Sure.
Like that's not a chump squad. No. That's me.
That's true.
That's my experience.
That'd be the name of my troupe. Chump Squad. That'd be good. I like Chump Squad. Have you made it?
Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad you said that. Could you describe the moment right before you did?
Making it is, I have not made the next it.
Okay.
But I have made several its along the way. The first it was getting into college and auditioning and getting into NYU. The second it might have been making the college play in sophomore year. Okay,
so that's the next thing. I'm thinking of inflection points. So
the big thing. The third it might have been winning my first rap battle.
Okay.
The fourth was getting an agent. Fifth was getting my first check for acting.
Okay.
And I can't remember if it was a play or if it was a $500 check for an MTV commercial. But those are big deals along the way of life. And then
they're milestones.
Yeah, and then you get your first pilot. Then 13 pilots later, I do my first.
You finally got one to go.
Yeah, actual TV show.
13, was it really 13?
Yeah, lucky number 13 was White Famous. But here's the thing, how do we define success as artists? You're a comedian, right? We're in a house, dog.
Yeah, that's what I define as success. It's more personal than that.
Yeah, if I can make a living doing what I love, if I can love freely the people around me, if I can be a good son, a good friend, a reliable human being, is that not successful? Now, do I have a responsibility as a South Asian American artist to tell stories that help me move the community forward? Absolutely. And as far as that's concerned, I have not made it yet. I've had 2 development deals that haven't gone. Sanjay Shah and I worked on something with Heems, and I just had something in Amazon that also didn't go. And it's very important to me to put a South Asian face on screen, whether in a leading role or in an ensemble way. For instance, you got a Swingers poster.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do Swingers with Indian people.
Oh, that's great.
Like, that's it. Same movie with Indian people. But like, it's important to me to put a South Asian man and woman on screen together in a romantic relationship, so that people can see that Priyanka Chopra and Hassan Minhaj or Aziz actually made 1.2 billion people together when they made love or when they get together. And that Indian men are not asexual and Indian women are not hypersexual, but they are able to like create a loving relationship that we can show younger generations coming up. Yeah, I've not made it in that respect. But yo, like, I got my mom and dad are healthy. I got a house. I'm coming out with a new album. When I call people, they call me back. You know,
that's a big one.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
When people call me, I call them back. I'll tell you what, when my friends go out of town, they ask me to take care of their dogs.
That's pretty good.
I made it.
That's pretty good. I would say, and you got him as long as you're not on the toilet. You're like, because
they
you know
sit
why?
with me. Dogs can sit and watch you.
It prevents the dog from drinking out of the toilet because you're on the toilet.
That's true. And they just look at you and are you done?
Are you done? Now I'm not going to drink out of that toilet.
I'm done. They definitely will. My friend David's Frenchie will definitely drink poop water.
That is wonderful to know.
Oh man, I always make it about doo-doo. Anyway,
it always comes back to it. It seems to. You're convicted of a white-collar crime. Which one is it?
Jesus.
He was convicted of a white-collar crime.
This would be great. Screaming at a police officer at the top of my lungs. Is that white-collar?
I think it's more blue-collar, but I'll take it. It's not violent.
How about high-stakes gambling?
That's good.
Like a high-stakes gambling ring.
Yeah, that you were running.
Yeah.
And then you got busted
by
the feds.
Like The House. Like
or
Will
like
Ferrell and Amy
Boiler
Poehler.
Room.
Or that. Yeah.
I go to Boiler Room, go to House, but they both work. They both work. I love Boiler Room. I think it's phenomenal. It's such a watch. What is your favorite time of day?
Favorite time of day is between the hours of 9 p.m. and 3 to 4 a.m.
Wow.
That's when I am at my most alive.
Like you're the most energetic.
Yeah, I'm wide awake and the rest of the world is fast asleep and I can do whatever I want creatively. Nobody's bothering me.
That's dope.
It's the equivalent of people who say I wake up at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like the flip of that.
Yeah, we just do it differently.
You do it
when,
where your energy.
When the sun goes down, I don't know, I feel so good.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you like the winter, here especially. Because it's not that cold and yet it's nighttime at 5 o'clock.
Maybe so, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you're more productive.
I'm super productive.
We'll do a graph.
Good to know. Yeah, we'll do that.
A winter, summer, the seasonality of Utkarsh. Which animals have you ridden?
I don't know. I remember I saw the question. I think maybe a horse on Griffith Park while wearing a helmet. And
wow, okay.
Maybe they put me on like a donkey, and maybe I've been on an elephant in India.
Okay, those are some maybes. You don't remember being on an elephant?
No.
That's how dope your life is. You can't remember being on an elephant in India. That's pretty
good. Ubiquitous the riding an elephant experience is in India.
Everybody's done it, inadvertently. When you come up with something, where do you feel it? Where do you feel that inspiration in your body?
Neck,
really?
Face, back of the neck, shoulder blades. So this is like my typical, if the beat comes on, it's so cliche, but it's what I do.
Yeah.
I just do this, and I come here, and then I just get quiet with God or the universe or whatever it is. Yeah.
Look at that. I don't think, does that read? Yeah, the Ganesh, do you see that? Amazing.
Yeah, I get quiet with God and I ask for guidance and I'm like, say what you want to say and let me get the out of the way. And I'm not saying I'm great, like a Kendrick Lamar. I'm not like, great at it. We all have different capacities as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
But that's...
You're speaking your truth. If you were a musical act, who would you be? You are a musical act, but who would you be?
If I could be anyone, I'd be Andre 3000.
Oh, wow, that's
just
pretty
for
dope.
a day.
So you'd be Andre 3000.
Or somebody who could really sing.
Okay, like Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury would be great. Or
He's the greatest.
Or like
probably.
Otis Redding,
Yeah.
or David Ruffin from the Temptations,
Yeah, of course.
or it just depends what kind of voice.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of voice I've asked people, like, who are your favorite vocalists? And I mean, to me, it's I like Whitney Houston, Freddie Mercury, and Elvis. Those are my three.
I was gonna say Elvis. That would be
Elvis,
real
the
cool
best.
to have that voice.
That voice is the greatest. That's the one thing that Chuck D, I think there's a movie coming out called The King, and it hurts me when he said, Elvis was a hero to most. But actually, Elvis, the sad thing is that he was exploited. He was actually a pretty good dude, but I think he needed to do more for the civil rights movement. I think that's what kind of people were like, he could have done more. Where can they find you?
At UTK the INC on Instagram and Twitter, and then there's TVs and movies and
Yeah,
stuff.
man, that's the good part.
Yeah,
They can find you. They can
it's
stumble
there.
upon you. On the
Yeah,
tube.
if what you've heard here leaves you wanting more, which is probably not the case.
Hopefully, we'll get more personal next time. What's your advice to the kids out there? You get 30 seconds to say something. What do you tell to the kids who want to do what you do?
I can say, number one, if you're focused on making money, it's going to be difficult for you in an artistic field. My rules to myself, so I won't speak for you, my rules to myself are, number one, don't quit, which is to say, don't have a second, what is it?
Don't have a backup plan.
Don't have a backup
Yeah.
plan. And then the thing that I've adopted, show up on time. These are the things I do for myself. Show up on time, which I up today.
You were 5 minutes late and you set expectations.
Yeah.
You didn't just walk in late.
You let people know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So try to show up on time, let people know if you're not. Learn everyone's name. That's V, that's Brandon, that's Ian, this is Rajiv.
Wow.
Learn everyone's name, be personable, and finish what you start creatively. For instance, if I start a script, just finish it. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
start
Yeah,
a song
you get to
and
go,
finish it.
I
Like,
guess.
you have an idea to do a television show, you enlist people, you finish this, then you gotta edit it, then you gotta push it, you gotta keep
Telling
it
me.
going, you gotta finish what you start because you're worth it. So if that's what I tell people is, like, you got it, you have a gift, and if you keep talking about it, that ain't never gonna happen, and I'm never gonna listen to somebody talk. I wanna see people do. So, love you.
Busta Rhymes, don't talk about it, be about it.
All day, every day. Thanks, man.
Brother, appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
USA in the house. That's everybody. That's Utkarsh Ambudkar. That's what's up. I love that. We the best. Murder on the beat, whatever they say. Everybody, thank you so much for joining for this episode of What Do You Bring to the Table? I've been your host, Rajiv, and I still am. Next week on What Do You Bring to the Table?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the most important of those is love, because when I live in that space, and I feel really good, and the times when I'm not living in that space make me realize that, gosh, I have more work to do. But it's like when you've had I often tell people, when you've fallen in love with someone, you know what love is like.
Yeah.
And then every relationship that you're engaged in afterward, you're asking yourself, does this feel like how I felt like when I was truly in love?
Right. I mean, we're married, so we have to say that we've only really been in love once. But yeah, I know what you're saying. You fall in love, you go, I guess I never felt that before. Just for the record, ladies.
How many more minutes do we have? Let's do like 5. 5. Okay, max. That's good because we want to get you out on time. I want to respect that.
You just want to kick me out.
You can take another dump if you want on your way
No,
out.
it's gone. I really thought I was gonna have to, but it's gone now.
It's subsided, I guess. In a sense.
That just means the wave later is gonna be real
Yeah,
powerful.
let's keep talking about that.
Okay, sorry.